I went back home this weekend. Going home is essential. When I'm stressed, I need comfort. Home is comfort. The dogs, the kitchen, the people waiting there for me. These things are all in their own ways comforting. Even the rituals, taking a long breath of allergen-filled air. The sneezing is worth it once I have stepped back into Poland, Ohio's atmosphere. And of course, perhaps the most refreshing, taking a walk around the old block that I was the king of, as I think back 10 years ago. The trip home was a rare and lonely privilege. Because of a lack of communication during scheduling, or maybe luck, my parents were headed out of town precisely as I was headed back in. I was the big man in the big house, so to speak. Instead of the usual flop down onto the couch in the living room, or at the kitchen counter with a warmed meal or snack waiting alongside smiles and company, I went straight to my old bedroom. It felt odd in the darkness. Something was off. Maybe my bed was too close to the wrong wall, or the desk askew. I turned on the light to find another mattress propped up in the corner. Mom and Dad's clothes were everywhere, and I remembered that they are having their bedroom redone, borrowing mine as storage. A walk down the hall confirms that they've moved into my brother's temporarily. So I sprawl out on their king-sized bed, looking extra large in the small room, and put on the TV. The original True Grit is on the tube, and the dogs are in my lap. Italian spaghetti western music becomes stuck in my head.
Or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which'll it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch.
The night is good. But like the inevitable demise of John Wayne's one-eyed hero, so perishes my attention span, and I boredly walk back to my room. The creaks of the floor almost echo and remind me of my loneliness. In my room, I eyeball my large bookshelf and land on a favorite collection of poems by Billy Collins. As I think now, driving through snowfall and freezing rain, how interesting it is that at this desk where I did my first writing, I stumble upon my all-time favorite poem, On Turning 10. This poem, as the title suggests, immediately conjures up images in my head of what being 10 was like.
I'm William Shakespeare. To be or not to be.
Of course, I recall the stacks of photo albums waiting downstairs, just brimming with concrete evidence of what my 10dom really was.
Isn't it a well-made book?
Collins writes, "The whole idea of it makes me feel like I'm coming down with something worse than any stomach ache or the headaches I get from reading in bad light, a kind of measles of the spirit, a mumps of the psyche, a disfiguring chicken pox of the soul. This is the beginning of sadness, I say to myself as I walk through the universe in my sneakers. It is time to say goodbye to my imaginary friends, time to turn the first big number. It seems only yesterday I used to believe that there was nothing under my skin but light. If you cut me, I would shine. But now when I fall upon the sidewalks of life, I skin my knees. I bleed."
1, 2, 3, 4.
You remind me of home. The pain cracks when the water leaks from the rusty pipes that are just beneath my feet. You remind me of home. The heater's warm that fills the room with a potpourri of dust and gas.
Despite how well written the poem is, I think Collins has it all wrong. There isn't an awful feeling of dread going into the 10s, the opposite in fact. There's a willingness and a curiosity as we grow towards adulthood. Responsibility is attractive to us, not something that stresses us out, even if it is the attraction to steal the show or torment an older brother. Maybe light doesn't pour out of us, but that's okay. When we fall, when we skin our knees, we get back up on the bike and ride around this neighborhood or that one until the wind in our hair reminds us of our curiosity. The jadedness, the dissatisfaction, the sleepless nights will come. But to you, 10-year-old, now is not that time. Now is the time for bad haircuts and having fun and exploring and adventuring. The scars may last forever, the ones blood pours from. But the light remains forever. It stays within. It stays in our memory. I'm glad I was home alone this weekend. I'm glad I had some time just to myself to really keep track of history worth remembering. I'm glad I got to revisit myself and move into our new house again, and to ride down that hill one more time, to ride around the suburbs one more time.
But it was in the summer, so it wasn't that bad. I'm glad we're moving. We're gonna have a lot more space, a nicer yard. I'll miss everybody though. My favorite thing about living here is the nice, safe community and all the nice kids.